Hello everyone. Good morning. Today we are going to see one demo session of a card payment professionals training. So here in Nex-G, we are providing one certified course for card professionals. So where we are providing a complete detailed training on top of the card payment operations. So first of all, myself, Adar Singh, is the trainer of this particular training. I'm having overall 18 year of experience. So past like the experience I have delivered a training to various like institutions, the team with like the Mastercards, Visa team, and like having the L1, L2, L3 certification towards like I have delivered a training to the FEMA team also. Various like issuers, acquirers, they are from the India, outside of the India, certain switch providers from like the outside of the India. So whatever I have like gone through with the processes, the industry requirement, each and everything I then define inside this particular training. Here we are very specifically like on providing the training on top of different aspects or the end-to-end like payment system environment, all the ecosystem, the host or like the members who are involved this particular payment system environment. So I explain you the complete like definition of them. So here we are going to proceed with like the module information. First of all, there is a query about various like trainees, how this training could help them. So basically, when we are talking about this training is specific for those who are from the background of the bank. So this definitely this course help you out because like my most of the training, the current like individual trainees, though are from like a banking background itself. Someone is having 18-year experience, someone is 15, someone is 25. So different like experienced candidates are there to work from like ACI worldwide, like initiating the process of ATM, POS, and other like card transactions there. So here in this case, like I'm like very specifically defining first of all the in the first module introductory part about like the different type of cards and their particular physical and like communicational properties. So the very first thing that I start with types of cards. So there in the types of cards, like mainly in these days, we are having three different type of card. One is that is contact cards that very specifically work on microcontrollers. The second cards, they are contactless. Generally in the card payment, we are using the combi cards, which is having the contact and contactless both scenario. In the contactless further, we are having two technology. One is RFID based, and one is NFC based. Okay, so that these two scenarios there. So mainly like when we talk about the physical property of the card. So the first thing that about like this material, generally the credit card or debit card that we are having that is of PVC cards. So why we is specifically like as an like issuer we are using a PVC there. We are having other material also in the market like metal cards are available there in the market. What are the other like possible materials over there? Then at what like point we are selecting the chip, so microcontroller selection there with like different companies involved in this. G&D is involved, then Thales is involved in this manufacturing of this. ACS is involved. The very specific like microcontrollers are going to be designed by Infineon and NXP Semiconductors, Samsung, and like ST Ericsson. These are all the organizations though are designing these microcontroller SLE specific chips. Now these chips like are having a specific property where we define which kind of OS that we have to implement for this. So that is totally based on like what kind of application that we are going to install. We are selecting the like operating system. Suppose I am going for the global application, a specific like scenario of GP scenario, which is global platform scenario, where any particular domain of application, like suppose one of the credit application from one XYZ bank want to have a collaboration with any particular merchant type, like it could be IRCTC, it could be in, like as means Indian Oil. It could be Super Stop, Pantaloons. So any kind of like the third party merchant is combining with the bank and provide the reward cards or any like combi cards over there. Means we could have two application or multiple application can reside on a single card. In that case, what we require the best operating system that can install or that can work with multi-application environment. So there we are having two operating system working over there. One is Multos and one is Java OS. So these are the operating system selection. So issuer once define its requirement towards the merchant. Merchant need to provide first like the body, what should be the body over there, what kind of chip that I have to initiate. Then inside the like card, we also providing in the backside the max type over there. Why specifically max type is important? Because these days even like we move towards the EMV, still we are having the scenario where like we are working on backward compatibility. If terminal is not suitable for the EMV chip like reading, if there is any issue with like the API management of EMV, then the backward compatibility or your fallback operations would be work over there, where this max type will help you to make a transaction. This max type is further having three tracks, so we like define a specific data into these tracks. Their encoding would be there, and based on that like information is feed. Then other modules like we could have RF module or NFC enabled module that need to define inside the card for the contactless scenario. So there specific protocols are initiating. So basically here we are working on ISO 7816 and ISO 14443. These two specific protocol, one is for contact and one is for contactless. Then for the payment system, a specific kind of application that we require. Application that need to install on top of the cards. So mainly these days we are having credit, debit, and prepaid. These are the core application. Apart from this, we are having other application also, charge application, then some like dining application, certain like royalty application. So multiple application there. Core application is credit, debit, and prepaid, which going to utilize for any payment system environment scenario. So who is taking the responsibility to develop these applications? So there then schemes come in the picture. So there we understand about the different schemes there, like Visa, Mastercard. Here in India, we are having our own scheme, which is RuPay. So how NPCI on the background is working on top of the RuPay? What are like the basic like amendments, basic on the features that one scheme should follow, and what exactly is the role that a scheme is taking in the particular ecosystem of payment? So once we define the complete ecosystem of payment, there we are having issuers, which is you as in bank. Then this issuer is issuing a specific card. We work on a different like card. So what we discuss, it could be any card, contact card or contactless card, combi card. Then that card is going to issue towards card holder. So there is one card holder there, which is handling this particular card. This card holder need to transact this card with a POS machine or terminal. So there we will have one dedicated card acceptance device. This card acceptance device could be with a different scenario. The contact scenario means a chip is going to read, or contactless scenario where you have to tap the card for the transaction, or it could be a max type also where you have to swipe the card over there. So this is your terminal, and this terminal is going to handle by merchant. Now, how merchant get this particular terminal? So this is even issued by one bank, and that bank is known as acquirer bank. So here then we are having acquirer bank. So we understand about the properties of an acquirer or how this acquirer is initiating or personalizing this particular terminal. So what are the properties of a terminal, like kernel of a terminal? So where we need to decide which kind of kernel that we have to build for the terminal. These days we are having Android based terminals, C# based terminals. So multiple option that we can build a kernel for the terminal where we define the application over there. So at any point of time, based on the merchant, based on the business, terminal need to decide for like personalization for which application or which particular like AIDs are going to accept by the terminal. Then these banks means issuer and acquirer, they have to connect, they have to communicate. So generally issuer is having their own network where they are connected. So that is basically scheme, card scheme, or that also known as card network, like Visa, MasterCard, or RuPay, Discover, JCB, any particular card network could be there. That is not only providing the application to the bank to install on top of the card, but also they are providing the connection of the bank, whether the inside the bank or interbank communication over there. So like we could have an option where this network is common for both the bank, acquirer and issuer, and we are having one also like scenario where acquirer is having a different scheme or different bank and issuer is having a different bank. So here a card network for the acquirer which is different, and these two card networks then able to communicate through one dedicated payment switch environment. So that is your EFT switch, which let two different networks or two different bank will communicate with each other. Now this is the complete ecosystem. In this ecosystem, one more party is involved on both end, issuer and acquirer. Suppose issuer is busy with its own processes, its own banking like scenarios over there. So issuer don't want to process the particular card for the authorization, authentication, pin verification, pin changing, these processes over there. In that case, issuer ask the card network to work along with the issuer on behalf of scenario, which is known as STIP, STIP, stand in process, where card network or card scheme has to perform certain responsibility on behalf of the issuer. Similarly, acquirer is also a bank. This also is involved in various other like banking tasks. So here acquirer in any case don't want to involve in this authorization process and all. So their acquirer initiate one third party which is known as payment processors. And these payment processor role is to process all the messages, all the information from the terminal, from the merchant towards the card network for the processing of the environment of like this payment, and then whatever the final like message condition that is going to discuss with acquirer or share with the acquirer. So this complete is the ecosystem. In this ecosystem then we are having different communicational protocols. So there we discuss or we work on individual first like the communication protocol in between card and terminal. There it defined with a specific language or the property of ASN.1 scenario, which is known as BERTLV, basic encoding rule of tag length value, which going to read by terminal and process by card with a specific protocol, communication protocol known as APDU. So there are two different type of APDU. Whatever a message that shared by terminal to the card is known as command APDU, and what message that card sharing to the terminal is known as response APDU. So in between these two hardware or these two parties, card and terminal, we are working with a specific protocol, a specific message condition, which is APDU, command APDU and response APDU. Once terminal get a response from the card, now terminal want to process this response for the authorization process or clearing process over there. So whatever message from the merchant or from the terminal is going to initiate towards the acquirer for verification of the transaction, for approving the transaction, and for like settlement process and all. These messages are going to involve or initiate with the message format of ISO 8583, and sometimes it's ISO 20022. These are the two specific message formats are going to initiate over there. So there we also understand working of the 8583. There I will define you practically, like there would be a acquirer server and issuer server and what different kind of messages that they can share with each other. So with the help of MTIs, with the help of bitmap, and further data elements, we would be able to decode different type of messages. We first process, we write the message, and then we able to decode that at any point of time. Suppose one acquirer or one bank or one network is working on 8583 and the second bank or second acquirer is working on 20022 kind of message standard. Then what exactly is the role in between of the switch to manage like the communication? So they are like at many point switch need to like translate the message from one party to another party, from one protocol to another protocol. So there we understand their functionality, their working of like the common message standards, the like migration standard from suppose we are having this complete different type of data elements for the message function, for protocol version, for exchange the information over there. So whatever the data elements that we're going to use for the ISO 20022 and for ISO 8583, that we check and then we initiate working over there for which data element need to translate into which particular tag or which particular like format information in 20022. So generally this 20022 is having the message code in instructions towards like XML format, and ISO 8583 is having its own structure which is working on this kind of scenario, this MTI message scenario, where first we are having the MTI value 4 byte information, then the bitmap value which is initiating with like the primary bitmap of 64-bit and secondary bitmap of 64-bit. So further we understand how many like bitmaps are involved in that, and then we able to decode this. So to do this practically we are having an environment where suppose I am working with one of the terminal ACS ACR39U is my USB based terminal, and in any case, suppose I need to read one of my credit card information. So here I'm having a different application with that. I able to read these information. Suppose I'm initiating a read command. For this read command, it's fetch the information from the card. So basically in my credit card, there are two particular folder. One is a PSC folder, a payment system folder, which is personalized by issuer for the providing the AID information of the core application reside inside the card for the payment. The second application, which is AID A00003110, which is AID of Visa. This application responsibility is taken by Visa as an application provider, scheme provider. So here inside, then Visa provide the information of this particular card, what exactly is the label. So this is a Visa label is there. Then what exactly is the application name, there a dedicated name Visa created there. Then we are having the element file, which is having the information, the card holder information and the other information. So that everything we would be able to decode here. So what you can see here, 6F, 84, A5, the all are tags. These tag information need to be append or need to be initiated from this complete tag list. We are having the different type of tag, data tag and template tag. So one by one, we able to decode these tags. What are the information belongs to which particular tag, how we are decoding these information over there. So in any case, suppose I'm getting any value. So this value, first of all, I need to decode like this is a complete value. So I will decode one by one this particular tag. So in the background, when we are initiating this read command process, so actually there are command APDUs and response APDUs working over there. So first terminal send a command for the application selection, then these application being selected, then terminal send the command to read record, then we are having these element files or these read records are going to initiate over there. So once terminal get all these information, terminal forward this information to respective acquirer, and their acquirer then initiate the communication over there. So there we are having the issuer and acquirer servers here in this way. This is my issuer server, and on the other end, I'm having one acquirer server. Then launching my acquirer server. So we are having two server means two parties are involved in this transaction. One is issuer and one is acquirer. Now in between issuer acquirer, we are able to see how they are going to connect, what are the protocol running in between them to connect, and then how the message standard is going to follow over there. Like first of all, I launch the issuer. So this server has been launched, is working on a specific port, and the issuer is activated. Now on the other end, I launch the acquirer. And as soon as acquirer launch, it connect the issuer in the background, and now I'm having operations here. I can initiate the operation for authorization. So when we are having the authorization operation, so you can see there is a dedicated message, and you must aware of this. When you get a message of 0100, 0100 MTI is very specific for authorization message type. Okay, so where like it initiates certain bitmaps, and this bitmap information is feed over here. Now, how this complete scenario is working, what are the different type of MTIs, what are the different type of bitmaps are initiated, that we could able to understand during this scenario once we read the message standards. So first we understand if 0100 is there, like MTI format 4 byte. So what does mean of 0, whether it's working on version 87 or working on 93 or working on version 03. Then we understand 1 indicates authorization. For the financial message, we are having 2. For the file action, we are having 3. For reversal action, we are having like 4. So this is how the message class is there. Then message function, whether is there in request or the response for the request or advice, that is defined in the third byte. And finally, who has origin this particular message, whether this message has been created by like acquirer or the issuer. So these all information that one by one with these scenarios, like this is the authorization. Then further for financial message, if we initiate the financial, the message is of 0200. Acquirer send this message, and then issuer receive the message. Receiver initiate respond like message received by issuer 0200, which having certain information, and then issuer process here validation scenario, MTI like amount of the message going to check over there. Then it internally verify the issuer, and then finally it generate one message type, response message type 0210, which include the approval code and action code inside the message. And finally terminal, like this acquirer received this message, and based on that my complete test has been passed over there. So this is how we are having a different kind of scenario that we will be able to understand the reversal process. Then we able to understand the clearing process or the transaction to initiate from the any specific network, whether that is a visa network transaction or other transactions there, so that we would be able to see. We even check like the branding scenario, means if the message format is going to initiate from one inquiry to another, if the switch is working in between, so how these different messages are going to initiate, that everything we able to get over here. So that is the complete scenario that we will find. Practically we will see this, we able to see the message like APDU is standard over there. For that further we are having the written script. So there I will explain you about the console operation, how the terminal application is going to write, what are the information that we have to feed inside the terminal. So this is like we need to register certain AIDs for the terminal, and then terminal capable to read those cards. So based on this, then we are having a dedicated console application. So I will explain you about this part also, where we work on the APDUs, a different APDU scenario. So here, if at any point of time I run the script, I would be able to read all my information of the card, and in the background we able to understand how these information can be initiated by the terminal. So here we can see we are having the card information display card element. So where the card is having AID, card is having a name of Visa. This is a max type information, track to information of the card. A PAN means the card number of my credit card. Then further, I'm having some authentication information inside the card. Further, I'm having a card holder name. This is my name written over here. Expiration date is there. Country code is there. Language preference, service code, that everything is there. And internally, terminal process the offline data authentication also to check whether the information inside the card is valid or not. So SDA even perform over there where terminal find the information written in the card is valid, it's integrated, there is no chance of voiding the integrity of the data. Then we understand how these information come in a picture. So they are command APDUs. These are the command APDUs and these are response APDUs. So for each operation, there is a command and response APDU. How we understand these operations? So there we are having complete EMV process. So I will explain you this complete process of EMV, how these structures are going to work over there. So where we discuss about these operation one by one. First, starting with the ATR value, then going to select the application, then initiate the application, then read record, then the terminal initiate the data authentication process where the offline data authentication or online data authentication is need to take. Then processing restrictions like your flow limit and all is going to process over there. The card holder verification, whether a PIN verification need to define or tap and go is going to initiate or the signature on top of the paper is required over there. Terminal action analysis, card action analysis that we perform. So based on that, finally the transaction is either like online or offline is going to initiate. In any case, we are working on certain cryptogram that is other known as data element 55 operation. In that, like certain specific value that taken from the terminal from the card, and then card generate one cryptogram with using a master key available inside the card. This information terminal share to issuer for the verification, and there we understand the authorization and verification process that work on top of the issuer. There also we understand if in any case cardholder provide PIN, how this pin is going to convert into pin block, and how this pin block is going to encrypt using HSM scenario. So there are dedicated HSM hardware security module operations, their key management that we will understand. What are different type of keys are involved in this, and then like how and at what zonal area which key is going to implement. Like we able to initiate if TPK is their terminal pin key. So how this initiate or this encrypt the pin block pin in our initialization, and then once this is received by issuer, how using a PVK or pin verification key issuer is decoding that information. So that complete is the process one by one we would be able to understand. Finally, in the scenario, once we come to the operation, once we understand the HSM card operations and all, then finally we understand about certain fraud, how the fraud can be prevented, how the fraud can be like optimized, and then what are the specific standards that need to follow by any particular company, any particular the host involved in this ecosystem. So generally we are having PCI DSS. So based on that, suppose you are initiating a specific level of transaction throughout the year, so you have to follow certain level of the PCI DSS certification. So we are having 4 level of certification there. So what are the 12 compliances that PCI DSS is providing that you have to follow? Then based on that, how you can get a certification over there from the PCI, and then we are having EMV standards. We work on that scenario, we go through EMV go and understand all their aspects, the currently we are having tokenization process, currently we are having the process of 3D security, that everything we able to see here, how we can get EMV specifications, what are the 3D security specifications, contactless specification, tokenization specifications that are going to provide by EMV, and then how we get them, and then we can process with these standards. So these are all things that we work on this, and that would be the end of training. There at the end, we will have like one small a test over there, and after that you will get the certificate. So that is the complete process. So here the concept, theory, as well as moreover the practical scenario would be involved.